I got some ideas, I got some pals, let's get together and pitch some games. Alright, let's look at Metroid. This is a
Metroid.
series that is super dead. Just dead. Remember when we talked about in Donkey Kong where Nintendo was afraid to give franchises to other people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened with Metroid. So the first game came out in 1986,
Yay.
and there have been quite a few games in the series. Probably the two favorites among fans is probably Super Metroid and the Metroid Prime series.
Right. Uh, our friend Eric, he is a huge fan of Super Metroid, and actually, when he borrowed that game to someone, and they, in turn, went to what used to be Funko Land and sold it for a pretty penny. I've only seen this friend mad once or twice in our like 10 year as friends, and this was one of those moments.
You sold Super Metroid? I'll sell you.
He got pretty mad, and justifiably so. I
It's,
mean,
you can find a used copy for not that bad of a price, but
he did end up finding another one for like I think like $7, but he had to. I think he had to get a new battery for the cartridge because it had started to go.
yeah, that's the thing about some of the old cartridges. Just the battery. It's like, oh, cool, I got this. Ah, shit. That
It,
happened a lot with the Mario RPG games. Those seem to go out pretty quick, and so do the Chrono Trigger ones. Um,
yeah.
but that aside, so the last game that came out was in 2010, 4 years ago, and Metroid has laid dormant since. Now, you could say there was that, if you bought a Wii U, there's a mini game in the Nintendo Land Collection, which was kind of, it was like a Metroid themed thing, but that doesn't count. And I wouldn't count Smash Brothers either, because, yeah, Samus is in there, but how about giving her her own game? Now, the point of discussion here is that they handed the rings over to Team Ninja, who was famous for making the Ninja Gaiden games. I don't know why they thought Ninja Gaiden could be transferred over into Metroid,
Oh,
but
these two are so similar.
you know what? Why not? So they did that, and then they basically fleshed out, I say that in quotes, fleshed out Samus's character. And like I think I said in a previous show, they destroyed her. They made her like so. They made her into a baby. They had her have this relationship with the Metroid and having talk about like the baby. Like seriously, I think I said this before as well. If you Google Metroid Other M baby, you'll find some amazing compilations on YouTube of her saying baby repeatedly throughout the game. It's not just someone saying baby 1,000 times from one shot.
Baby, 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 oh.
It's from the entire game, and she's pining over like her other crew and this guy that she wants to fuck or whatever. It's just like, wow. So you lost the entire point of why she was a badass.
Yeah.
Let's just make her into this super generic girl that can't do anything on her own. And let's also, which is really weird from that game, is so every single Metroid game they strip her of her powers for some. They find some way, some conceit to take them away. This one, she doesn't lose her powers, but because she goes onto the space station, there's like Marines there. They're like, Samus, don't use these things unless I tell you to. And then you progress through the game. It's like, okay, Samus, you can use this thing now. She is not part of the operation whatsoever. What the fuck is she doing? She says something like, I should respect. I think it's the guy she wants to fuck or whatever. So she's like, I should respect him. Oh my god, come on. Ugh. It was bad. It controlled super shittily, and I did not like it. I never finished it. I played about 2 or 3 hours, and I was just like, I don't even feel like covering this game just because it's like so bad and just. Ugh. I know our friend Nick. I think he said he liked it, but
Yeah, he beat it. He talked pretty good about it.
well, you know, different strokes for different folks, but I didn't think that it lived up to the Metroid thing, and I thought that they just destroyed Metroid. The care of Samus. But let's get off of them destroying Samus and how they can bring her back. So I would really like to see a 2D Samus Metroid game. And a remake would be fine, but I want an actual new game. I think this would work better on the 3DS, just because you got that portability.
Right.
And I think 2D, that's a better style. And, maybe make another first-person style Metroid on the consoles. Or just make a really pretty version. But let's go to some of these pictures here. We can get some ideas of what people kind of want. So this first picture, it's just a really detailed image of what Samus looks like with her suit. So it's not necessarily an idea as much as I wanted to... I just kind of, if it was for the consoles, I think like a really intricate, detailed thing of what she looks like would be pretty cool. Now, what they could do is a third-person action game. That's exactly what Other M was, but they had her like flipping around. Like I said, it's from the Ninja Gaiden guys, so it just didn't make sense the way she was flopping around and everything, and doing all these crazy moves. I think if they made it like a third-person shooter, like Uncharted, or anything that controls like a Dead Space. I guess Dead Space is pretty good.
Like a Dead Space meets the new Tomb Raider.
Yeah, because Tomb Raider definitely had a Metroid style where you find things and you unlock new areas and stuff like that. Yeah. And, the blaster's perfect for, she can take cover or whatever, or, whatever. She doesn't need to be flopping around. I also didn't like how they... So, it would be one thing if it was 3D action, but they made you have to switch into first person, and controlling that first person view with the Wiimote was ridiculous. I think it probably wouldn't have been that bad of a game if the controls were just better. And also if they didn't make Samus into a puss. But I think a third-person shooter could work really well in the Metroid universe. They would just have to retry it again. Also, maybe they should just make sure Nintendo does it instead of giving it to somebody else. But, I guess if...
someone that's a little more tested with that type of gameplay.
Yeah. I think
like I'm not very good with shooters. Bungie, you think they could do a good job?
I think so. Actually, the last Halo that came out, I'm not sure if you knew this, but Bungie is not doing Halo anymore. They gave the reins over to 343 Studios, and 343 is actually made up of people that worked on Metroid Prime.
Oh,
and if you played Halo 4, you could definitely tell there's a definite vibe of Metroid from there. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool if they went back to first person at least. I think Visceral Studios, which is who made Dead Space, I believe. I'm really getting that right. I think that would be an amazing game because Dead Space it also was kind of like Metroid, where you found stuff and you progress through the game. Less so, it was more of an action game than anything else. But the vibe of Metroid, Metroid is basically primarily about like Samus going to some planet and just being a spooky environment as she's being attacked by monsters and aliens and other things like that, and exploring. And I think that could work well for a Metroid. And the next picture, also just kind of a more detailed look. This is one of my favorite pieces of art I've ever found of Metroid, and I've used this as my wallpaper so many times. Just the battle damaged Samus. Now I'm not looking for a bloody Samus because that's such a I don't know. Nintendo's have to go that route to like make something super more mature and make it like provocative or whatever. But if they did that with any series, this would be the series to do it. Samus, she's an adult. She fights aliens.
I mean, she's a bounty hunter, isn't she?
Yeah. So of all the Nintendo series, this would make the most sense without everyone had to be like, "Wow, Samus is killing people now." Now, again, obviously, you don't have to have blood exploding on the screen.
Right.
But you could. Did you ever play the Batman games?
Yeah.
So the Arkham games also have a Metroid vibe with the unlocking secrets and stuff like that. And as you progress through the story, Batman's costume becomes worse and worse. Like there's tears in the costume, or whatever. I think it'd be pretty cool for Samus as well if she progressed through the story, and then one thing or another, she just became battle damaged. Battle damaged Samus now with kung fu action.
She's got kung fu grip and karate chop.
Right. So yeah, think that would be pretty cool. For the next one, I think, I mean, Samus is pretty huge, but I gotta imagine, just when she's in her Zero suit, that she is a lot shorter than probably what her suit looks like. And this representation is obviously a little bit, it's not probably to scale to that degree. This is probably a bigger version of what the suit looks like, obviously. But this one looks more like it's more like a mech kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of a lot of the Shiro Masamune stuff. If you know what that artist. He did like Appleseed and Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, that kind of does look like Appleseed.
He's known for this kind of artwork, and it does look kind of like the suits that they use in the movie or the show, the one that Junin uses.
I definitely think that looks very close to like what you're saying with Appleseed. I wonder if someone based it off of that, or if it's like off a.
Which, weirdly enough, if you look at Samus and then you look at Dune and Newt, the main character from Appleseed, they look very much alike, and they share similar personality traits.
Well, they probably
so maybe
based it, because when did the original Appleseed come out?
Late 80s.
Late 80s. Okay. Well,
so, actually, around the same time as Metroid.
Could be a coincidence.
It's probably just a coincidence, but it'd be kind of cool if
blonde,
the guy
blonde with mechs,
the guy is doing Metroid, and the Shiro Masamune. They could have maybe even hired Shiro to do like mech design, because it's kind of what he does. True.
This is just a fan art thing too, so.
Right. It's a very good picture.
I do like there's a random cat there.
Doesn't she have a cat?
No.
Oh.
She has like a pet Metroid that dies.
Get the hell away from me, kitty. See, that's why she looks scared in the picture. She's like, damn it, cats.
But the reason I brought this up is because I think it would be cool to have her suit be more of a huge, like, big, huge mech kind of design, where you are basically, you have to be Samus in some parts, and then go on the power suit other times. Right. So you gotta get off of it, and you could do, like, less traversal.
More like Metal Gear Solid, kind of sneaking around.
Yeah, like maybe, you can't like go brazen all the time, and sometimes you gotta like get out, maybe sneak around, get something, go back in your suit. And they have done her in other games before. I believe in the remake of the first game, towards the end, I believe you lose the suit, and then you have to do an escape thing with Samus. And it was actually stealth, because she was super limited. I know she died really quickly if you didn't have the suit. I can't remember if it was one shot or more, but you basically had a pistol eventually, and then you're fighting these aliens, and then eventually you got off the ship. But it was mostly a stealth mission. It was kind of annoying, but if they did it better, I think it would work perfectly, actually, what you're saying with the stealthness. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool for that. The next one, it's kind of a weird design for her suit. I think it would be cool if they... Did you ever play Metroid Fusion?
That was the one for the Advance, right?
Yep, that was one of the ones for the Advance, yep. Basically, the suit kind of grafted onto her.
Grafted.
Yeah, so I think basically a Zero suit form of a new design for her thing would be pretty cool. And I think, her suit is pretty iconic, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're gonna do a reboot of some sort, it'd be pretty cool to give her like a new suit. Now, I don't think the pure white would be great. I think if they did it, they could just add some coloration here or there. But I think this design, regardless of which, is pretty cool. Especially, this is not total either, because you could, if you notice, her hand is going into the glove,
Yeah.
as well as her thing is designed around the blaster. So it seems like this is her like being dressed or the armor forming around her.
Yeah.
Actually, perhaps. So maybe it's like a magical girl transformation. Saying that, I kind of would like to see her have like a magical girl transformation, but at the same time, that would again make her probably into a weird person. But not all magical girl shows is a bunch of peppy people, so I don't know.
She could be like Gizmo Duck from DuckTales.
Gizmo Duck.
The suit
that'd
could
be...
form around her.
Yeah, she's money analysis. What was he, an accountant?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god, that would ruin Metroid forever. Samus is an accountant by day and a magical girl by night.
You know who might be able to do the series justice? The company that did like Last of Us or or Beyond Two Souls.
If it was Beyond Two Souls, it would be focused more on story.
Which would be fine.
It would be fine, but I would want more of an action game. Metroid is kind of more of an action game.
Get into Samus's past and get to see all the bloody.
We tried that once, and that ruined her. No more story. We don't need that shit.
You get her story, but you get to like live through the tragedy. She's not gonna fucking like, oh, I can't do this. No, you get to see her become hardened and
give her a cigar.
She'll be like Starbuck from the beginning of Battlestar.
No, you know what? They should just make it into Titanic, and in the beginning, she's telling her children, "I used to be a warrior."
Oh, even better. Wherever the final setting is, say it's an abandoned space station. And it's full of those like space pirates, the bird-looking things, and it's orbiting. It's lost in a planet's orbit. It's crashing, and the whole game is her, like, remembering how she got to this point, and then she's gonna make her big daring escape.
I have amnesia, just like Cloud and Squall and every other Final Fantasy character.
Just recent ones.
No, it didn't. One
Titus.
Didn't one of the ones in the didn't. The guy at Boko, didn't he have an amnesia? Or someone had amnesia on that team?
Butts?
Yeah, but didn't someone have amnesia in Butts' team?
Oh, yeah. Not Ferris, the Galif, the old guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I came from the moon! Spoiler.
Well, he rode a meteorite.
I come from space. Okay, so this next one, it would be like a period piece. And imagine Iron Man, and they're like, "Oh, we're losing against World War Nazis. We're gonna lose against the Nazis."
See, this plays right into what I was talking about. Her gritty backstory, where she's not a pussy.
Well, I think it would be a complete reboot if they put it into. I know on the top it says World War Nintendo, but let's forget about that. She's not gonna be fighting Yoshi. That'd be pretty sweet though. Just like a bunch of like crazy reptilian Yoshis that she's trying to fight against.
That have been like fused with the choppers. Is that what those are called? The big black balls that are always barking.
I think they're called Chomp Chomps, I believe.
Chomp Chomps.
So pretty close. But yeah, they could totally Americanize Samus and make her. They give her a power suit in the very beginning, and then they just I don't know. I think it'd be a cool idea. I don't think it would work necessarily, especially because people would be like, well, you know what? This actually might. I believe I'm not quite too sure, but I believe Metroid isn't that popular in Japan. Actually, I think it's more popular over here. Yeah. So I wonder if they actually set the game like in America, if it'd be more popular, because I know they like their American Arcana.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they might not be. I don't know. Whatever. Either way,
let's give it to Germany. See what they do.
Yeah, you're fighting like Nazi Ridley. Ridley is actually Hitler, and he was transformed, and Samus and Ridley were knocked into the future, and then she became a baby again, and then
she became Metroid.
So, pictures aside, do you have any ideas for Metroid?
Um, I would like to explore a grittier, like actually get to play Samus when she was in boot camp, or when she lost her family to the space pirates.
You gotta play Metroid Other M if you want that, because that's in there.
I don't want that version though. I want something new, different.
That's the version you're gonna get. They're not gonna do that twice in a row. They learned their lesson.
I want a hard up Samus. I want someone that's hard boiled.
Samus is hard-boiled.
Yeah, she is, except for that game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you give her backstory. They're like, yeah, she's actually kind of weird now. That's like what they did to Darth Vader. It's like, he was actually a puss. And then you look at the old movie, and it's like, man, Darth Vader's a puss now.
Yeah, you can't unsee one scene.
I think it would be interesting for her to possibly be working with other hunters, or maybe she goes to an academy and she actually passes down her lineage to some other
playable
cadet.
character.
Another playable character. That again, though, may upset people. It could be a whole Metal Gear Solid 2 incident where they transfer to Raiden and everyone's like, where the fuck is Snake? Who the fuck is this fairy with his flipping flopping wings and his legs spreading apart all the time? So yeah, there's definitely some challenges to do, but you know what? If they just stick to just doing a Metroid style Metroid game with exploring the dungeons and whatever, I think that'd be pretty bitchin' on the 3DS. So at the very least, just give me that. Whatever. I would even settle for you putting the Metroid Advance games on the eShop for me to buy.
You know what? Samus is part of a Sentai.
Good. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to stop you right there.
Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, subscribe.